Hi, my name is Matthew Smith. I'm a current multivariable calculus student at the Belmont Hill School and proud 2 out of 6 scorer on the latest New England Math League competition. Today I'm going to talk about limits with a current senior. Sitting with me today is J. Patrick Connor, an all-right student at Belmont Hill. Professional weightlifter and future finance pro. Welcome, Pats.
Hello, I'm proud to be here.
Yeah, so today we're talking about limits, and I know you're not a math guy, so we're going to try to make this easy for you, okay?
Cut! Professor Smith, I'm sorry that you don't have an arm anymore.
No, Pat, it's really fine. So limits?
So indeed limits.
Yeah, so give me you've taken math for a number of years. Give me a rundown of what you know about limits.
I dabble in mathematics, of course. Got to be well-rounded finance pro. But so what I've learned from limits is that it's pretty much what a function approaches as the external of that function goes to infinity or to a certain value.
Yeah, that's perfect. And so when we're talking about limits, of course, the standard notation, you're going to see a large uppercase L or lim, below it x with an arrow to some value, like you said, infinity. It could be any other number, and you can see a plus or a minus above that value. Sometimes person from the left or the right, and then to the right of that, all that, you're going to see the function that you're evaluating. And so we go for it, and then from there, it's usually pretty straightforward. But sometimes there's a lot of challenges to limits. What are some of the challenges you faced in your years?
Well, I learned limits 10th grade, obviously I'm a senior now. But back when I was in Mr. Marley's class, and if we didn't get the limit right, he used to do like the marker trick. He'd toss the marker up, one marker up, and then whip the other one at us. And so I have a good amount of welts from those days. Limits, I'm not good at math, so I used to do what it equals. It's a weird concept, especially when the concept of infinity is pretty confusing at first, just when you just start. But after a while, it sort of starts to make sense. It's just getting used to the concept of infinity. That's it. It's not the hardest thing out there.
Yeah, that sounds pretty traumatizing, to be honest.
It was a great experience.
Yeah, like you said, there's definitely some difficulties when you're looking at limits. Some of the common ones you may know, if there's a hole in a function, which means it's undefined at that value, or if they're piecewise functions, so there's multiple parts to it. You can see some difficulties in evaluating them in certain areas. But that's why calculus is so great, is because we get a really helpful tool, L'Hopital's rule. What do you remember about L'Hopital's rule?
Yeah, so we did sort of brushed over it a little bit, but I remember that if so basically if you take a limit and it's in indeterminate form, so basically you get 0 over divided by 0, that means you can use this thing called L'Hopital's, which is basically you take the derivative of the numerator and the derivative of the denominator separately, and then you evaluate that limit instead, and then that should give you what the limit of the original function will show you.
Yeah, that's perfect. L'Hopital's is just one of those great mathematical tools that we have in our limit solving tool bag. Another one, you can use your calculator to look at graphs of functions, or you may not have done this, but later on, a lot of people use Mathematica, which is this computational software used to perform different mathematical evaluations or graph different things, but it can specifically be used to evaluate limits, which is really great. Yeah, so and how you use Mathematica is you'll use the special coding language for Mathematica. You type in how their format for evaluating a limit, and it'll output a value for you. So that's very helpful. And Pat, you're still bad at math.
Let's get into this one.
Hey,
come
cut!
on, hey!
Hey guys, it's Austin from Chalkboard Math Tutorials. If you like that video, smash the like button below, check out our channel and subscribe, and check out the last video over here if you missed it.